body of ours, how many of us are ready to go in the ground right now? With or without backpacks. But why not? It's because we think that we really own this body of ours. What part of this body do you really own? When you actually start to contemplate this, you're contemplating the way the Buddha asked the monks and the nuns to contemplate. Keep looking at this body of ours. What part of it is yours? If it really was yours, you could actually tell it what to do. But my body goes its own way. Last week I had the flu. I was really quite surprised I got the flu because I went through India and I went through Thailand. They're supposed to be very unhealthy countries, dirty, no cleanliness, especially in India. And I was fine, really fit. Come back to Australia after 8 and 9 days, I'm down with the flu. It shows Australia's a very unhealthy country. So it surprised me. And also, when you get sick, how inconvenient it is. I had all these things to do. It was very inconvenient being sick then. But I couldn't stop it. There's nothing you can do to stop sickness when it comes. So you understand that this body does not belong to me. This is not Ajahn Brahm's body. I told many people here before, because as a monk, so I've got even less control than you have, especially less control about what I eat. Because I just get fed by you lot. And you put into my stomach not what I like, but what you think I like, or what you like. Because they got this, especially in Thailand, I'm not quite sure if it's the same in Sri Lanka and Burma, they've got this tradition, this Buddhist tradition, that whatever food you give to a monk or a nun, that's the food which you will get when you go to heaven. So everybody keeps feeding me the food that they want to get when they go to heaven. Which is maybe not the type of food I'd like to get when I go to heaven. And so I keep telling people, my stomach no longer belongs to me. It belongs to you lot. So you put into my stomach what you like, not what I like. I've got no control over this. And the rest of my body, again, it doesn't really belong. It belongs to nature. That's what this body belongs to. When nature wants to make it sick, it gets sick. Nothing to do with me. When nature wants to make it old, it gets old. When nature wants to take it back and die, it dies. How many people really want to die? Very, very few people. It's usually, if you want to die, say, no, 1 more week, please. Just like, after 1 week, another week, please. It's always like tomorrow. Interesting, even like 80-year-olds. Are you ready yet? No, maybe 1 more week. 90, not quite yet. 100. It's always, maybe later on, but not now. Now it's inconvenient. So this body does not belong to us. When it doesn't belong to us, you don't worry so much about it. So imagine that sort of, I'm very compassionate, I think, but if any of you get sick, I don't worry about it that much, quite honestly. This it's the same with you, isn't it? I mean, even if someone you're very close to, gets sick, do you really worry about it that much? A little bit maybe, but not as much as when you get sick. Come be honest. That's why actually there's a lovely story, it's a very deep story from the time of the Buddha. There's one of his chief disciples was a queen. Now one of his other disciples was the king. The king had many wives in those days. And they're just really into suffering. Well, but anyway, sort of, men are stupid. That balances it. And anyway, his wife was also a devoted Buddhist. And the monks, would go on alms round into the city every now and again. And one day the Buddha was going on alms round in the city. And this queen, Queen Malika his name was looking through the window and saw the Buddha. And she was gazing upon this wise, compassionate, amazing monk, just with such wide eyes. It was almost like being obsessed with this monk. And the king saw his chief wife just gazing adoringly at this monk, and he got jealous. So he went up to her and said, "Okay, who do you love more, the Buddha or me?" It was one of those questions which was like double-edged. Whichever way she answered, it seemed she'd get in trouble. But she was wise. She said, to the answer to that question, who do you love more, the Buddha or the king, her husband? She said, "I love myself more." Great answer. And the king thought about that and said, "That's really strange." So he went he went straight away to see the Buddha, told him what had happened. And the Buddha said, "That's a very wise woman." Because most people, we think we're compassionate, but a lot of times, actually what we're really loving is ourselves. Even as I remember reading in a Time magazine many years ago on the psychology of love, when a man and a woman fall in love, actually they say that what they really love is they don't love the other person, they love the way the other person makes them feel. They love that feeling of being in love. It's only when the other person is around that that feeling is generated inside of them. There's a nice, interesting thing to actually to contemplate, whether that's true or not. The person you love most in this world is yourself. Anyway, when we look upon this body of ours, this is the one we're most concerned with. But if we can only realize that this is not us, this is not me, this is not ours, it's much easier to let it go from time to time, not to worry about it for so much. And so much of illness comes from worry, and tension and concern. So if we just let the body go and relax, it tends to get better. A lot of times, people get sort of tensions or pains in the body. And how many times have you had a pain and thought it was like a heart attack, or thought it was cancer, or thought it was foot and mouth disease or something? Have you looked in your mouth recently? Whatever it is. But people worry so much. Like, we have the term hypochondriacs, but we're all hypochondriacs to a certain degree. It's just like, if it really goes over the top and becomes a sort of a big thing. But in this particular case, if we can just let go of our body and realize this isn't our body, this isn't ours, this is one body amongst many we've lived in, we're going to get another body next time, we're not so concerned about it. If through the luck of the draw, luck of the karma, you've been born ugly in this lifetime, don't worry about it, it's not such a big deal. Next time you may get a better chance. Or if you've been born with, like young men and young women, you're just so concerned, aren't you, about your appearances. And especially, at least with men, after a while they can let go of their appearances, but women have to keep worrying about how they look for so many years. And it's so painful. I mean, it is, isn't it? Come on, be frank about it. Just worrying whether your makeup, your hair's right. But when you become a nun, it's great. You don't have to worry how your hair looks at all, or your makeup is same sort of. But look, it's when you don't worry so much about sort of your appearances or your bodies, so much more freedom. Sometimes people come to like monasteries or nunneries, ask, why do you shave your hair? Why do you just wear these robes? Because it's marvelous not to have to worry about what you look like. To be free of that. Because you are not the body. So I don't care what people say about how I look. That's why that classic story many years ago when I was first in